Today we're going to talk about direct variation. So direct variation is when two quantities have a constant ratio. The equation is in the form y equals kx, where k is standing for our constant. So when you have an equation plugged into it, you'd have numbers where you'd have a number where k is. So you might have something like y equals 4x or y equals negative 3/4 x. So we'd have a number in there, but it's the constant saying that x is always being multiplied by the same number each time, and it's going to be proportional. So one example here. The equation y equals 10x represents the amount of money y Julio earns for x hours of work. Identify the constant rate of change and explain what it represents. So our constant here is the number that x is being multiplied by, so it's 10. And what does that mean? It means that Julio earns $10 per hour. Alright, so let's look at an example. If y equals 15 when x equals 9, find y when x equals 33. So the first thing is we need to write an equation, and then we need to find the value. So in order to write the equation, we need to figure out what k is. So if I'm looking at this, I want to look at when I'm given both the x and the y value. So in this first one, if y equals 15 when x equals 9, I'm given both values. So I'm going to plug that into the equation. Y is 15, we don't know our k value, x is 9. So we're going to solve this equation by dividing by 9. On the right side it cancels. 15 ninths, I'm just going to simplify that. They both divide by 3. This would equal 5/3 is k. So our equation is y equals 5/3 x. That's part 1. Part 2 now is to plug back in. It says find y when x equals 33. So I'm going to plug in. We don't know y. We know k is 5/3. We know x is 33. So I'm plugging in 33 for x. Now I'm going to simplify and multiply across. I'd get that y equals 55. Alright, example 3 here. Find x when y equals 72. So we don't have both values here, but over here, if y equals 48 when x equals 4. That's what we need to use to find our k value. So we plug in what we know. We know y is 48. We don't know our k value. We know x is 4. Solve that equation by dividing by 4. And we get that k is 12. So our equation would be that y equals 12x. So that's part 1. Part 2, we are solving for the unknown. It says find x when y equals 72. So this time we know y. So y is 72. We know our k value is 12. We don't know x. So I'm going to solve this equation to find the value of x by dividing by 12. When I do 72 divided by 12, I get x equals 6. Alright, number 4. If y equals 12 when x equals 9, find y when x equals 4. So the one that gives us both values is the first one. Y is 12 when x is 9. So plug in what we know. Y is 12. We don't know k. We know x is 9. Solve this equation by dividing by 9. I'm just going to simplify over here. 12 and 9 divided by 3. So I get 4/3 equals k. So our equation is y equals 4/3 x. Now plug in to find our unknown. Find y when x is 4. So we don't know y. We know our k is 4/3. We know x is 4. So I'm multiplying 4/3 times 4. I can't simplify, so I'm just going to multiply across. 4 times 4 is 16. 3 times 1 is 3. So our y value would be 16/3. Alright, last one. Find x when y equals 10 if y equals 8 when x equals 20. So the one that we're given 2 values is the second part. Plug in what we know. We know y is 8. We don't know k. We know x is 20. Solve the equation by dividing by 20. Just got to simplify. 8 and 20 both divide by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So we get a k value of 2/5. So our equation is y equals 2/5 x. Now we got to solve for the unknown. Plug in what we know. We know y is 10. We know our k value is 2/5. We don't know our x value. So if we look at this, we need to solve this equation. X is being multiplied by 2/5, so the opposite would be to divide by 2/5. It'll cancel there, over here, and dividing by 2/5. So 10 over 1 divided by 2/5 would be multiplying by its reciprocal. I'm going to simplify and multiply across. I get 25 over 1, or 25. So x equals 25.